Puka Nakua, man. I mean, he is legit. Puka is a very, he's an elite receiver and just an elite playmaker. Almost looks like the second coming of Deebo Samuel, but a better pass catcher. That toe tap sideline grab that he had was I saw the play and I was like what? Oh, okay, he's way out of bounds. Like, why are they even like looking at this? All right, guys, welcome back to Borderline Sports Podcast. This is episode 2. Really excited for week 14. Going through these games this week, and then we'll be also looking ahead towards week 15. What'd you think about the slate this week? Got some exciting games. Some bad games, but there were some good ones. Potentially game of the year between the Bills and the Rams. That's a good one that we'll get to. But what do you ready to? What do you think? You ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it. Start talking about these games. Kick it off, dude.
Starting with game number 1, we had Lions 34, Packers 31. And I'm sure you watched intently the entire time. What were your takeaways from this game?
Yeah, I mean, great game. Packers did the same thing they did last week or last time they played the Lions. Just spotted them 10 points early. Never were able to overcome it. Back and forth game. Offense looked good. Defense looked decent. Shined at some points. Um, just kind of a tough game to go on the road, play the Lions at home. Obviously, they're the best or one of the best teams in the NFL. Played them tough though. I don't think they want to see us in the playoffs. At the end of the day, Packers are still going to make it, barring a miracle by I think it's the Rams maybe that are cheering against the Packers. But at the end of the day, they're still going to make the playoffs. Don't think the Lions want to see us for the third time. It's hard to beat people 3 times in a year. Um, Jordan Love looked good, had some crazy throws like he always does. He looks like he's starting to get healthy again. Um, but yeah, I mean the Lions are a well-oiled machine. Um, just looking forward to Dan Campbell coaching them out of the playoffs. So that's that for me.
For sure, that leads me perfect into my takeaways. Yeah, Dan Campbell is a psychopath, man. I mean, when he went forward at their own 30 on fourth, and they didn't get it, just giving away free points. I mean, I think he has an illness, like a legit illness, when it comes to going forward on fourth down. Like he is fighting a mental battle that he needs to prove that he is like, I don't know, the boldest coach, the dumbest coach, who knows. And I think that's their identity is literally just going forward on fourth down. That's what I think their identity is. But um, yeah, I mean he's a psychopath. He almost lost them the game at the end there, but the Lions are still a wagon, man. Their O line is incredible. The two-handed monster of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery is going to be tough to handle in the playoffs for sure. And um, you know, behind that old line, they definitely have an opportunity. Obviously, their defense is super banged up. This game honestly reminded me of the um, game that the Vikings played against the Lions. It was the exact same thing. I think we lost 31-29. Just offenses going head to head. No one can stop anyone really. And then the Lions are able to convert a fourth down and get the final game-winning field goal. But tough loss for you. I will say there's a lot of hope for Packers fans out there. You guys still looked really good. And the true question of is this sustainable for the Lions like down the road? I like you said, he's going to coach him out of the playoffs if this illness progresses to any further from his brain into his other extremities. So
Probably one of the best games of the week too. Just going at it, entertaining, and yeah, two of the best teams in the NFC. To the play the Bills and the Niners still though, so they
that's
against
true.
barring that, I mean the
Is that
Vikings.
at Bills? Is that at Bills?
No, it's against the Bills and then at the Niners. So
Okay.
the last game against the Vikings could theoretically be a big one, just depending on how things shake out in the North. But
Agreed. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, I forgot about that Bills game. Vikings 42, Falcons 21. Um, I thought this was one of the Vikings' most convincing wins since probably playing Houston earlier on in the season. We finally dominated a game. I wouldn't say it was completely start to finish, but the second half, we just really blew them out. Darnold looked every bit as good as we could have hoped today. I mean, or that on Sunday, he had 5 touchdowns, 0 picks. Jordan Addison just went nuts. Jordan Addison, I think, people have been doubling and tripling JJ as much as they can, obviously. And then Addison has really found his groove here. Darnold's starting to find him. He had 3 touchdowns, over 130 yards receiving. Very excited to see that. And JJ also had 127 and 2 touchdowns, so love that. One thing I do want to call out is that JJ's touchdown. I can't remember when it was in the game, but Darnold had to basically scramble, escape the pocket, extend the play, and JJ's just like wide open, waiting in the end zone. The Falcons cornerback, man, was like running his own route on the side. Like I don't know if you saw that, but he was just lost. He literally at one point was like looking into the stands while JJ standing to the right of him, 10 to 15 yards on the inside, right by the end zone, and he just slips, falls over. I mean, that's embarrassing. It was really hilarious. He was like just swimming, lost in the sauce. JJ had him in hell, I should say. Um, but yeah, I mean, the Falcons they look really bad right now too. So, as convincing as a win as it was for the Vikings, the Falcons their defense was terrible. The turning point in this game was definitely the fumble on the kick return by Ray McCloud. Just unacceptable. Vikings go down, score another touchdown right there, and just dominated the game from there. Went up 2 scores there, and that was basically the end of it. You know, Kirk looked sad, man. He looked sad. He looked pissed off. They don't run play action for Kirk. That's his bread and butter. So I don't know if it's his Achilles or what, but they just don't run play action, and it's pretty confusing. I don't get it, but um, yeah. What did you get away? I mean, yeah. What did you get from this game? I guess.
I mean, I didn't really see anything super impressive out of the Vikings. I thought it was more just the Falcons were the worst performance I've ever seen. Um, I mean, both those long touchdowns, the first one to Addison and JJ, the defenders were not even in the picture. Like I I think like you could found a grandma out there that could make those throws. It was just really tough to watch. I mean, Falcons out had more yards than them, 496 to 433. 3 turnovers though. And like you said, the kick return, that was pretty much the end of the game, bumbling there. It's a great game up until that point. Both teams were moving the ball. Um, like outside of just an absolute breakdown twice by the Falcons DBs, um, it was a good good contest. But at the end of the day, I took away Vikings looked solid and the Falcons looked horrible. But um, then the score line's a little misleading, 42-21. But um, end of the day, I mean, Vikings came out with a win, but it was a little bit better of a game than the score would suggest, in my opinion. And just Kirk, just dude, I don't know how he has no touchdowns in 4 games. That's impressive. Like, not sure what happened to him. He looked like he was kind of starting to recover, but lights must be too bright. So that's what I got from it was, Vikings looked above average. They didn't look like final. It was their most convincing win, but it's not saying much with their recent schedule and recently what they've done. So see what they do. I mean, they got the Bears this week, so should be a cakewalk, especially after how they looked. But um, yeah, I don't know. I can't put too much stock into this game just because of what I saw of the Falcons. So they're dead. They're absolutely dead.
Yeah, you're drinking that haterade, I can tell, but I mean, it's fair enough. The Falcons have not looked good for a while. I just think, the reason why no one has put some stock in these Vikings wins the last, maybe 5 weeks is due to the fact that we haven't really played or we haven't blown out these opponents like, the Lions have been doing because we play a lot of the similar teams. The Lions will play them a week later, blow them out. I think this was a convincing win for the Vikings. I do think it was a closer contest, like you mentioned. Um, up until I think it was the second half. It was a close game. But I don't think it should discredit Sam Darnold throwing for 347 yards and 5 touchdowns. I mean, yes, a couple of those were wide open. However, he did have some pretty deep balls to Jordan Addison and to Justin Jefferson on that touchdown across the middle. But yeah, I mean, you're fair. You're good. You can hate. You can hate all you want. We'll see what happens down the road.
Just kind
But
of being a realist, this is a Falcons team on a 4-game skid, including a 38-6 loss to the Broncos. Um, so I don't know. I just really think that
I
the
mean, Kirk was horrible, dude. Kirk is.
I
I
think
don't
the
understand what.
Falcons are the worst six and like they're up there in my opinion with I mean they're not Giants and Raiders bad, but they're like Browns bad. They're, in that category of bad.
And they shouldn't be because they have all the talent in the world on offense. And
I agree.
it's at the end of the day. I mean, Kirk threw a horrible pick. I mean, all you got to do is blitz Kirk, dude. All you got to do is blitz Kirk. Tape the
Yeah,
tapes out. He can't move at all right now. So that contract is looking disgusting, and we as Vikings fans, we'd love to see it. I think that's why we maybe put in a little bit more stock into this. Is just we let him go, and he sucks. So yeah, 8 picks, 0 touchdowns in 4 games. Dare I say, Michael Penix Jr. has some life potentially. That idea has some life in the next 2 games if things don't go well. I would say so. So
yeah,
that's what I.
I agree with you, and I hope he does get a chance. Like I just don't see them being able to catch the Bucks here. Um, just kind of after how they've looked, and um, I guess the Bucks do have a tougher schedule, but we'll see. But anyways, let's move on.
Sounds good.
Let's talk about the Bucks, Raiders, Bucks. Bucks 28, Raiders 13. Buccaneers literally looked horrible for half the game. Came out a little bit hot. I think they were up 14-0, took their foot off the brake or foot off the gas. Raiders kind of snuck back in, um, which is surprising. I mean, the Raiders just aren't built to come from behind. I mean, they're not built to even play football for the most part, but particularly coming from behind, having to throw the ball. Um, Brock Bowers didn't do anything, which was crazy. He's the best player. Didn't even have a catch in the first half, I don't think, maybe one. Um, ALC got carted off, put an air cast. I was watching it. I don't even know what happened to him. I mean, it looked like he just took like a regular fall. Um, but yeah, I mean, Bucks win at home, move on. Um, I guess that's really all I got from it. How about you?
Yeah, I didn't really watch much of this game. I saw, AOC through what should have been back-to-back picks on consecutive drives. I think the second one got called back. It was like at the line of scrimmage, some weird play action play or it was like a screen pass. I don't remember exactly, but it was an ugly game. And yeah, I feel like Gardner Minshew is the better option here, but like I don't know. I don't know what the Raiders are even really playing for at this point. They're playing for a number one pick. Antonio Pierce, not the smartest decision maker right now in the NFL. Um, Brock Bowers, like you mentioned. I think he caught a touchdown the second half, didn't he?
No, he didn't. I think he ended with two catches, and I don't know if he
Oh,
got the
really?
first one in the first half.
Damn.
Um, Three catches, 49 yards.
Okay. So yeah, not a great showing. I mean, they have to go after their leader in targets. They need to get him involved early and often. And I have him in fantasy in a couple leagues, but yeah, I think the Bucks will win the NFC South for. I'm not gonna say for sure just yet, but it's almost all wrapped up here. Unless Kirk can figure it out and the Falcons can get their mojo back. Otherwise, yeah, I think I like the Bucks. Regardless of um, how banged up they were. McMillan had a good game. Mike Evans first game back. I think it was his first game back. Yeah, it's good to see him back in action. He's always going to be a safety blanket and a big play threat with those big mitts he's got. But yeah, that's basically all I got. Bucks are gonna have probably a home playoff game, which is crazy to say, but that division sucks. So,
Mhm. Agreed.
all right, should we
Uh,
move on?
yeah,
Pan
Eagles 22, Panthers 16. What'd you take away?
Eagles 22, Panthers 16. So I don't really, I wouldn't say this is a game where you go freak out and start questioning everything about the Eagles offense. However, Jalen Hurts looked really, really pathetic in this game and kind of weak. Not weak, but he didn't take a single shot. And AJ Brown has a reason to be upset with him, I would say. I don't think Sirianni has a good control over that locker room. The fact that like this always happens where AJ Brown is able to go out and be like, what was the issue with the offense today? And all he said was passing. So he's not talking about anything other than Jalen Hurts in that. And I think Jalen Hurts did have two touchdowns, but he only passed for like 110 yards. I was looking at or I was watching ESPN, watching them break down some of the tape, and basically Jalen Hurts just, he would have AJ Brown on the sideline one on one, and just wouldn't throw it, wouldn't even take a shot. He always took the safety blanket or threw it away. He had open receivers down the field. I don't know if he wasn't feeling it today or what was up. But yeah, I mean, right now they do look like a team with their only threat on offense being Saquon Barkley, which given is a huge threat. But if you come across a team with a really good run defense, and they're able to somehow mitigate Saquon and keep AJ Brown from breaking wide open, why can't someone go and beat this Eagles team? Obviously, the Eagles just played a big game against the Ravens. So they kind of look down to earth this week. Also, the Panthers, Bryce Young looks solid. He's actually been. They should have won this game, honestly. The Eagles should have lost. Xavier Legette just drops that touchdown. Or it might. I mean, yeah, it probably would have been a touchdown because he could have just rolled into the end zone. No one touched him. No, he drops the ball on that deep crossing route, and could have been a little bit of a better throw by Bryce Young considering how open he was. But yeah, it's unfortunate that the Panthers couldn't get a win here because this would be definitely the biggest win of Bryce Young's young career. But yeah, I don't think this is panic yet for Eagles. However, you would like to see the offense, the pass game improve, no doubt. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's at least 2, if not 3 weeks. Jalen Hurts is throwing for like 120 yards. Just not gonna cut it. I mean, I guess if you're putting up fucking 300 yards rushing every week, sure. Um, but it's not really sustainable. And at least, I mean, the Panthers aren't known for their defense. You go up against some of these teams in the playoffs that are a little bit more defensive minded, are able to stop the run, make Jalen Hurts throw the ball a little bit more. It could be dicey for them. Like I said, I don't think it's panic yet. but just really didn't look good or sharp at any level, offense or defense. Sirianni, again, I mean, he's going to coach him out of the game. I feel like the punt towards the end of the game, questionable. Gave Bryce Young a chance. There's a couple crazy things that had to happen on that last drive for the Panthers, but I mean, they happened. Weird things happen in the NFL. Adam Thielen played really well, I thought. Xavier Legette, really liked that guy, but I mean, he dropped that pass. Like that's heartbreak, you know. Um, like winning that game for the Panthers probably would have been like a win for their season, you know. Like their fans will remember that
Yeah.
like through the off season. But um, what are you gonna do? But yeah, I don't know. Carolina, it looks a little brighter than it did start of the year with Bryce Young. So hopefully they can, do something to get out of being just the perpetually worst team in the NFL. But as far as the Eagles go, I mean, they're not going to miss the playoffs. Nothing's going to change because of this. They
Yeah.
got out there with a dub. So just,
My
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the concern for me, like the Eagles need like home playoff field advantage because, that's kind of, their defense is very solid. Their run game's unreal. But if they get into say a shootout with, the Lions or the Vikings or the Packers even, like, are they going to be able to, is the pass game going to be able to do enough to put up enough points to hang with some of these teams with elite offenses? And, I think that's a big question mark, to be honest. I've never really been a huge Jalen Hurts fan, but I'm not a hater either. But yeah, I mean, sometimes he just does some things that make you scratch your head, as far as not taking shots and playing it maybe a little too safe. Also, the Eagles, they always start slow. You don't want to start slow every game in the playoffs, especially if you're on the road. If they were in Detroit on the road against the Lions in a divisional round game or NFC Championship game, they're not winning that game if Jalen Hurts doesn't pick it up. So that's what I'd have to say.
Agreed. I really think their stats are kind of skewed. Like he's looked horrible at least 3, 4 games in a row now, in terms of yardage. They get away with it because, like I said, they're efficient at running the ball. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a question mark. They've blown up the last couple of years, when it mattered. So I guess I'm not buying Eagle stock, but I'm not selling it either. So um,
Yeah, and I totally agree. And this isn't to take away from what Saquon has been doing. Saquon's been incredible, honestly. Best running back in the league, in my opinion. 1A, 1B with Derrick Henry, you could maybe say, but yeah, I mean he's been incredible. But yeah, it is a cause for concern. It's not a panic yet, but if this trend continues into the playoffs, you got a lot to be nervous about, I would say. But you're still 11-2, so we'll give them their flowers for the record.
cool. Jags Titans 10-6. I don't even want to talk about this dude. Will Levis is terrible. I honestly feel bad for the guy because he like tries so hard and they're so bad and he can just never do anything right. There's a couple plays, he missed a dude wide open in the end zone. Um, would have gave them the lead. But end of the day, both these teams I don't think wanted to win like at all. Um, I mean Jacksonville would have the number one pick, I believe, if they lost that. So no idea what they're doing. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. How about you?
Yeah, dude, this game was I mean, I didn't remember anything of significance from this game. Tony Pollard had a good game, 102 yards rushing, so on 21 carries, no touchdowns, but still a solid day. Yeah, I mean, who really wants to watch Mac Jones versus Will Levis? At least Will Levis is like, he takes shots, but Mac Jones is like not a fun quarterback. I mean, the fact that he threw two picks and no touchdowns, neither of them had a touchdown, but the fact that he threw two picks and they still won, no one wanted to win this game, like you said. They're just vying for a pick. So, yeah, this game was gross. I don't really have anything anything special about this game, but um, do you
No,
think are the Titans, is their what's their number one need? Is it quarterback? Are they gonna move on from Will Levis after this?
I don't
Uh,
know. I
because he
mean,
has shown promise. I mean, I don't. I honestly don't know. I don't follow the Titans as well enough, so I'm curious what you think.
I'm guessing they're probably going to go with a receiver. Like right now, they're sixth. Um, they need some playmakers and maybe kind of like what the Giants did, get Neighbors right around six. Let him play a year, see how Levis can do with him. Their defense is really good. It's the second best in the league. So, I mean, if you just get anything at offense out of that team, like you're going to be 500. They play in the AFC South, which is a horrible division too. I mean, the Texans, like at the beginning of the year, if you asked me, I would say they win it by 5, 6 games. It's not the case. Um, so I don't know. I think you try to get some playmakers over there. Let Levis have a year or two while he's still got the rookie contract. You know what I mean? It's not eating away at you. Kind of get some playmakers there, and then maybe go for the quarterback. But who knows?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, yeah, I guess I don't know. Will Levis, he makes really bad mistakes, but I mean, the dude's got a fucking cannon for sure. He can hit. He can hit. He might have the strongest arm in the NFL. So I don't know. You stick with him. He just makes really bad decisions. But yeah, I agree. They need help on offense. Tony Pollard is a good running back. I didn't know they had the number two defense in the league. If you have the number two defense, you're 3-10. Your offense has to be horrendous and turn the ball over all the time, which is exactly what they do. But yeah, I think we can move on from this game unless you got anything else.
No, number two in yards, so not number two in points. But I mean, they're
Got it.
not letting people get yards. So yeah. Anyways, um, Jets Dolphins, Jets 26, Dolphins 32. What do you see?
Um, so the Jets looked good early. Brees Hall and Sauce were out for this game. I know they sat both of them. I mean, honestly, as a Jets fan, you probably wanted to see them lose. It would have been nice to see them win as a moral victory, but you're so far out of it at this point that losing wasn't the worst thing for you. Um, the Dolphins in overtime looked good. They drove the ball right down the field, got the ball back. I think they got the field goal to tie it at the end there. It was a field goal, right, that they kicked in the fourth, I want to say,
Mhm.
to tie it. And then they get the ball back and drive right down the field. And, I'm playing Jonnu Smith in fantasy or against Jonnu Smith, and he had zero receptions. And then he just goes off in overtime for 13 points, catches the touchdown for them and to close the game out there. I'm definitely confused still by the Jets like run game. I mean, Braylon Allen didn't do anything today. I think it was that Davis.
Yeah,
Davis, I
Isaiah.
want to say is his name. And he looked pretty good. It's confusing to me, man, because like they just never seemed. I have Brees Hall in fantasy, and he just the only time I seem to win a fantasy game or be close to winning is when I sit him and or he's out. I mean, he has been maybe that's not 100% accurate, but something's confusing about their run game to me, and Rodgers did look pretty good. I will say that, roll out, sideline, deep ball to Garrett Wilson. You gotta let him stay in bounds there, but it was still a huge play. So,
I'm gonna argue like that's not Rodgers' fault. That's Wilson not knowing where he is. I mean, there's nobody around him. Find the sideline, catch the ball, go up the field. Like he acted like he was draped in coverage. That was his only option. Um, just another, I mean, Rodgers is putting the ball on the money, and he just did not do his job as a receiver, in my opinion.
Fair
Um,
enough.
I, yeah, I mean, the Jets, they just have so many problems. They finally put up some points, then they can't stop anyone. They're missing some people on D, but um, end of the day, it's NFL. You got to compete. I thought the Dolphins had looked pretty good in the second half versus the first. The first, they were kind of just a little stagnant. They looked really predictable on offense. Um, but I guess that's the name of the game for them. They ended up running the same play like three times in a row when they scored with Tyreek. So I don't know if they're just like bored running some. They just like have one play that works in practice and they're like, here we go. We're gonna do this all game. Or what their deal is, but I thought they looked really predictable. I mean, giving the ball to Achane from the 5 yard line three times in a row, expecting like this little 5'9", 180 pound dude to run the football in it is fucking insane, in my opinion. He gets smoked every time he does it. They keep going back to it. It's never gonna work. Um, so I don't know. I don't know what like Mostert's sitting right there. Like you have a unit right next to you, and you just like give it to this dude that looks like he plays soccer for the most
Yeah, but
part.
Mostert was out in this game actually.
Oh, he was. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but no, I mean, fair enough. I mean, just run a different play call.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like just running trying to gash him up the middle with that guy is just it's just not his strength. I mean, but yeah, I don't know. Dolphins have a little bit of life. They need help. Happy they won. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Isaiah Davis came in and looked really good at running back. Uh,
Hmm.
almost looked better than Braylon Allen, but it is I don't know. I don't know if it's the Jets play calls, dude, but just something doesn't mesh with that team at all on offense. Like just tell Rod, just give Roger the play. Like let him like call the game, in my opinion. So
Yeah,
that way we can find out if it's the coach or if it's him. Just let him do it. Just let
I
him.
think there's more than a couple things that don't mesh with the Jets. Which,
Devontae Adams looked really good.
yeah, I mean, their pass game, Rodgers threw for 339 yards in this game. Only one touchdown, but yeah, I mean, Garrett Wilson went off. Him and Devontae had really good games, over 100 yards receiving. This is a game they probably deserve to win, and their defense couldn't hold them up. But did you really want to win this game as a Jets fan? I don't know. I mean, it might have been a good moral victory, but like at this point, like you're looking towards the future. You're probably going to draft a quarterback to sit behind Rodgers if Rodgers stays. So um,
Yeah, and I
it's
mean
kind of
this week they got Jacksonville, but after that they got to go to the Rams, Buffalo, and Miami again. So
if they lose against Jacksonville this week, they are like they're allergic to winning in the NFL. Like,
yeah,
and
you got
Rodgers at this point, I mean, he's got to be so pissed off. So everything's got to be dead to him at this point. Even though he was the problem at certain times in the season and hasn't been great, there's just dysfungul in this fucking or in that organization. So I don't know.
great.
All right, moving now to our afternoon slate. We'll start it off with Seahawks 30, Cardinals 18. What did you see in this game?
This game was over like within the first three Cardinals possessions. I think they ended up scoring a touchdown, but then the next two possessions, just two bad picks from Kyler. Seahawks scored both times, went into halftime with a pretty commanding lead, and nothing really changed from there. Um, I just don't know what's wrong with the Cardinals. I guess those two interceptions were big, but they just struggled throughout the game. They really didn't get much out of Trey McBride till the very end. In garbage time, Marvin Harrison didn't get the ball a ton. I think he had 4 catches. They just did a really poor job, in my opinion, of getting the ball out of Kyler's hands into the playmakers. And Seahawks, on the other hand, they did the opposite. They they were just feeding the ball to playmaker. Charbonnet went off. Um, DK did what he had to. Didn't have a ton of production, but he just is a monster. Draws so many penalties, draws so much attention, makes JSN's life super easy. Um, Lockett looks old, but I mean they have three legit wide receivers on that team, so um, they just got to get healthy, get Kenneth Walker back. Honestly, if Geno doesn't pass them out of games, they're like a respectable opponent. So, um, that's kind of what I see. Their defense looks a little bit better. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Right now, Packers are slated to play them first week of the playoffs, so they're also slated to play them this week, so it'll be a good test.
Yeah, no, I think you hit it right on the money. Kyler, I see. There's so much hype behind Kyler, and people I think always jump on his. Wow, he's electric with his legs. When he gets going, and when he's throwing a good deep ball, when he's hitting his play, they're getting the ball in their playmakers' hands. He looks unreal, but he has never had a full season of good quarterback play, and he always seems to fall off in the second half of the season. I don't know if he's going to be I mean, I don't think they're going to move on from him this early, like just because of his potential. But at the same time, like, what does he have? One playoff appearance ever? Maybe one playoff appearance. I know they're not a good organization. They're not a good team as a whole and haven't been for a while. Not a great organization, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't. Kyler's those two picks. That second pick was just, dude. What are you doing? What are you thinking? Honestly, of course he's going to jump that route. You lofted up a lame duck, you know. And I think when he does make a bad decision, he tends to follow it up with more bad decisions. If things aren't going his way. But he has that big play potential. He's fast. But yeah, I mean, other than that, like, yeah, Jackson Smith the Jigba, he had a big touchdown early, I think on the first drive, and he had a quite a good game for them. Yeah, DK back to normal, like you said. Lockett looks old, definitely looks old. And Charbonnet, I do think, you know, I don't know if Kenneth Walker's been like kind of hurt this year, which I know he has. I don't know if he's been fully healthy all year because he's kind of struggled in a couple games before this. Hasn't really done anything too impressive. And Charbonnet today was able to really have a solid game and punch in a lot of those opportunities that they had. Um, and I don't know. They do have a good dual-headed running back threat over there. I do think Kenneth Walker is still the better player when he's healthy, but yeah, I mean, as long as Geno doesn't, like you said, pass him out of games and make terrible decisions, if they can keep him in check, they are a viable opponent, like you mentioned, and um, the Seahawks, they're probably going to win that division now. It's kind of crazy to say, considering we thought they were dead like 4 weeks ago.
Mhm.
But they've strung together some wins here, and as a Seahawks fan, you got to be pretty happy. I do think their defense is pretty good. Not gonna lie, they get turnovers, and they're not bad in fantasy either. So it's my takeaway from this game.
Cool. Next, best game of the day, in my opinion, maybe all year. Rams 44, Bills 42. Um, Josh Allen does it all, six touchdowns. Um, just really interest. I mean, McDermott's got to be like, if he wasn't the Bills coach, he would have been gone so long ago. Josh Allen is keeping his job for him. Um, just week in, week out. There was one week, can't remember it. They punted, if you remember that in the fourth quarter with like a minute left from their
Against
own.
the Texans.
Yeah, like just always something dumb with that guy. He looks dumb on the sideline. He's just out of his league. So I don't know. It's hard. It's like hard to say, in the playoffs, if those mistakes are going to cost them. But Josh Allen is literally backpacking the entire franchise. Um, Rams, I don't know where that came from, that performance, but offense looked really good. Puka looked like insane. And yeah, I mean they're one game out of the playoff right now. I think they're one back of the Commanders. Um, so anything could happen. They could sneak in. I mean, they're right on the heels of the Seahawks. So they end up actually play them the last week of the season. That could be huge. But the Rams do have a tougher schedule, I think, coming up than the Seahawks. So
For sure. Yeah, I honestly I hate to say it, but I agree with you. Like McDermott, he lost him that game. I mean, Tom, like you could hear Tom Brady talking about it on the broadcast. He's like, you know, all right, now you throw the ball, you get three opportunities here, maybe even four to throw the ball. If you need four, you got four chances here to punch it in, or not punch it in, but you know, you can stop the clock if they don't catch the pass, blah blah blah. And what does he do? He goes straight to Josh Allen, and on a play that yes, that quarterback sneak's been working all year, but that's the one thing he couldn't do. I mean, you would think Josh Allen would find a way to, even if he has to scramble and get in, if he sees an opening, that's fine. But you just cannot keep the clock running. Honestly, like I don't even think, in my opinion, you just cannot burn that timeout right there.
yeah,
Even if you force it back to the line of scrimmage and you clock it and you lose a play, that would have been smarter to me than calling the timeout, because the timeout is literally just that's what lost them the game. I mean, so frustrating there. You gotta feel for Bills fans there for sure. But yeah, Josh Allen for MVP. I mean, he's incredible. He's literally Mr. Incredible. Like he is doing everything. Three touchdowns passing, three touchdowns rushing. He can just score in 30 seconds if he has to, but it seems like, McDermott is working against him at times. He's quarterbacking that entire franchise, putting him on his back. But what I saw from the Rams was just Puka Nacua, man. I mean, he is legit. Puka is a very, he's an elite receiver and just an elite playmaker. Almost looks like the second coming of Deebo Samuel, but a better pass catcher. That toe tap sideline grab that he had was, I saw the play and I was like what? Oh, okay, he's way out of bounds. Like, why are they even like looking at this, or like why are they even thinking about this for that long? And nope, they didn't even have to review it. It was a catch. Like that, like he looks like Justin Jefferson out there. Looks like Julio Jones in the Super Bowl with that toe tap. Maybe even what's his name, Cook from Cowboys Packers, when he toe tap caught that against is his name Cook? Something, your guys' tight end in that playoff game against Dallas, when you guys kicked a game-winning field goal at the end. You know what I'm talking about?
Cook now for the Packers.
This is a
Uh,
few years ago. I mean, whatever. We can move on, but just incredible sideline catch.
mhm.
His other kind of falling backward, high pointing the football. Just making an incredible play on the ball. You just throw it up to Puka Nacua, and he'll get you. He'll catch the ball. I would say there's some, durability concerns there just because of what the positions they're throwing him into. But also, I mean, that little end around to like Puka, like the Bills could not stop that, dude. It was so obvious it was coming, and it just worked every time, handing the ball off to Puka Nacua. This game reminded me of the game we played against them when they were healthy. That the Vikings played against the Rams earlier on in the season. I mean, the Rams offense, when healthy, when able to protect Matthew Stafford and give him time to find his weapons, they can run the ball efficiently with Kyren Williams. They're scary. Do I
Mhm.
think they're consistent enough? I don't know. Remains to be determined. If they finish the year strong, they are a scary playoff team that I don't think anyone wants to see. But yeah, no, game of the year. I would say game of the year. I can't think of another one that was better than this. But just really poor, you know, coaching decision at the end there to go for the QB sneak with Allen. I mean, lost him the game just like that Texans game. So, anything else from you?
No.
No?
I want to take it back though. The Rams have a much easier schedule than the Seahawks. Seahawks have Packers, Vikings, Rams. Rams play like the Jets and just a couple other bums, but I'm
Okay.
wanted to clarify that. Niners, Bears. I mean, dude, there's not much to talk about in this one. Bears looks horrible. They're in a bad spot. Niners might have saved their season. They're on the brink of having a chance to make the playoffs, still like on the outside looking in. But I mean, if they lost that, they were done. So did what they had to do. Um, Garendo was just running the ball down their throat. George Kittle looked insane. Um, and overall, I mean, the Bears are supposed to be like a defensive minded team. They just aren't anymore. So we'll see what happens towards the end of the year, whether they bring Thomas Brown, pretty sure his name is, if they bring him back to be the head coach, who they're going to bring in. But um, just, right when the Bears kind of looked like they had a pulse and, are just a couple plays away from winning some games, that comes out and they're right back to square one. So that's what I got.
Yeah. Just want to throw it back here real quick. Jared Cook is his name. I'm talking about that sideline toe tap catch, Jared Cook in the divisional round versus the Dallas Cowboys. If you just type in Jared Cook, you'll see it. It's like one of his main images on Google, but um, whatever. We can move on from that. I think that was in not in overtime, but at the end of fourth quarter. Um, okay, yeah. So I mean, yeah, the Bears are dead. Bears are deader than dead. I mean, what do they have? Four yards of offense in the first half,
Yeah.
and the Niners had something like 313. Um, yeah, I mean, they're all, I don't know what to say, honestly. Their line is awful. I do feel bad for Caleb Williams at times, even though, he does miss a lot of throws and he struggles, but he was getting killed all game, especially in that second half, or even in the second half as well. Romo Dunze is a little bit of a glimmer of hope there. He looked good, had a nice touchdown. Um, but yeah, I mean, they need the offseason so bad. I feel for Bears fans out there. I think we got them next Monday night, so see what they look like in prime time. But yeah, I mean the 49ers looked back to normal. George Kittle, incredible game. Isaac, I mean, literally the 49ers just plug and play at running back, but then everyone gets hurt. Garendo he had an incredible game. Honestly, he looked unreal. I picked him up in fantasy for $42, and he went off. It was lovely. It was lovely to see. I don't think the Niners are dead just yet. Um, I don't know. They're also one of those teams where it's like you hope they're dead. They look like they're dead, but if they are able to somehow by a miracle make it into the playoffs, that's not a team you want to play. Um, even though they're so banged up and are always banged up. But yeah, I mean that running back position is absolutely cursed on the Niners. But um, yeah, I don't know. Anything else from this game? I mean, I feel this was not even this game was never in question from the first drive. So
No,
Bears look terrible.
no. Let's move on to the Chiefs.
All right.
So Chiefs 19, Chargers 17. I didn't watch all this game. I watched most of it, but I mean, just the Chiefs magic. You knew it was coming. The doink off the crossbar and in. Just it's the way it's been going. You can't bet against them ever. They're never going to cover a spread, but they're going to win every game. So um, we'll see what happens. But I mean, Herbert looked like a warrior. He's beat up. They're definitely missing Dobbins a little bit. Missing Lad McConkey. So I don't think it was the best version of the Chargers, but they competed, they tried, and yeah, I think Chargers are a little bit slept on for who they are.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to kind of, eat my take from last week. I mean, as far as me saying the Chiefs are one of the worst, 11-1 teams or 12-1 now 12-1 teams. They just have the championship DNA, dude, and it just seems like, it really just reminds me of Tom Brady and the Patriots when he didn't have weapons, but they would continuously make AFC championship games. They're just not afraid of the big moment, and Patrick Mahomes can convert any clutch third or fourth down late in the game. I mean, he finds a way. They find a way. So, do I think they're the best team in the AFC? No. Am I getting worried that, oh shit, they're gonna play up or down to any opponent and still win the game? I'm very concerned for sure. The Chargers are good. They have a great defense. Obviously, their offense is not the best version of themselves without McConkey, without Dobbins. Herbert really doesn't have anyone to throw it to. I mean, Quentin Johnson had an incredible catch over the middle where he just got laid out by the safety, but he held on to the ball. So shout out him. I know he struggles with drops a lot. It's kind of sad, but he did have a big grab. But the Chiefs are the Chiefs, man. Of course they doink it in, gross kick. Of course it goes in. It's terrifying, honestly. Like they don't look good, but they win games and win by two all the time. So, yeah, that's what I saw in the game. I didn't watch the whole thing. I think I watched about half of it. I was watching the Timberwolves blow a lead instead. But yeah, I mean, you can't really take it away from the Chiefs. They don't really have the weapons on offense. Hopkins looks okay. Xavier Worthy had a couple of nice grabs, but um, yeah, they win games, dude. And it's Patrick Mahomes.
So it brings us to our last game last night. Bengals 27, Cowboys 20. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, so I had a lot riding on this game in fantasy because I needed CeeDee Lamb to have a big game in order to confirm that I would get the number one pick in my dynasty league for next year. And CD did have a big game, or a decent game. Was not really excited about this game at all. I mean, the Bengals are fun to watch. Jamar Chase, he went ballistic, 177 yards, two touchdowns. I mean, him to Joe Burrow, it's an incredible combo. Um, but really, yeah, I mean, the only thing I really took from this game was that punt. That was the I mean, I didn't know this was possible, and I don't know exactly what the rule is, but, the blocked punt at the end of the game, all they had to do was just don't touch the ball. Just don't, Cowboys, don't touch the ball. Um, just you block the punt. You don't need to go pick it up. If you had an opportunity with nobody, that could potentially pick it up right after you, or if you're surrounded by Cowboys players, yeah, sure, go pick it up, run it back into the end zone, go for it. But that freaking idiot, I don't know who it was. He tried to make a play with surrounded by two or three Bengals, gunners, and he wasn't even close to recovering it. He dropped it and gave the Bengals another chance. They go down, Jamar scores, and that's that. I mean, I feel bad for. I don't really like Micah Parsons. I felt bad for him. I mean, he looked so distraught at the end of the game. He looked like he wanted off, and he was out. Like he was. I mean, you just feel bad. But it's the Cowboys. It's kind of funny. They suck. Yeah. What do you see?
Um, yeah, I mean, Burrow and Chase is so dynamic, fun to watch. Cowboys made a game for the most part. They had a real chance to win it. So basically how that play works is since the putt crossed the line, just like a regular punt, if like the receiving team tries to touch it, if it hits someone back there. It's a live ball. So that's because it crossed the line, it's considered a punt, even though it was blocked. So um, that is what that rule is. If it's right, I don't know. Um,
Thank you for explaining that.
you're welcome. So it's not like a field goal. Field goal, if it's blocked, it's dead. So if the other team, you can return it, but you can't. If the defender touches it and then the offense touches it, it's still a
It was just
defensive.
confusing, I think, because it touched so many people, you know? Like I want to
Yeah,
say it even touched the Bengals again, so I didn't know if it was dead then. I wasn't 100% sure, but yeah, what a nightmare, dude. You just can't. I mean, you obviously just don't even take the risk. Don't like if you don't know the rule. Clearly, I don't know if he even knew the rule, but just don't take the risk and try and pick that up unless you have 10 yards of space. I mean, he was surrounded by Bengals gunners and the offensive punt team. So it's just idiotic, but
yeah. I mean, just par for the course for Dallas this year. Lackluster coaching, lackluster players, lackluster results. I don't know. I was pretty over this game. Um, just in terms of, two teams Monday night, neither playing for anything, at just pride at this point. Um, thought the Bengals would win. I didn't. I mean, when it was 2020, I didn't see them winning, but um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it was a classic way to wrap up, week 14 there. But um, talk about week
yeah, no,
15.
yeah. Let's get into week 15. Yeah, let's go.
Cool. Thursday we got Rams Niners. San Francisco by 2.5 is the line. I don't know. I don't know what to expect after the Rams played the way they did. Um, Niners looked a little better, a little bit more healthy. See what happens with Garendo. He left the game, but not like it matters. I know they're just gonna plug someone in there that's gonna go for 150 yards and a touchdown anyway. So uh, yeah, see how the Rams do bounce back after that. They expended a lot to win that game. But big division game there for both their chances.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. I'd say, if the Niners lose, they're done. Um, I kind of feel like Arendo might be the end of line for running backs, but it's the Niners, so maybe they have another one. Luckily, I have a bye in that league this week in fantasy, so I don't need him. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the inconsistency with the Rams is what concerns me in this game, and just the 49ers being who they are in history. I could see this game going in either way. Kind of surprised that the Niners are favored. But yeah, I mean, I think I'll rock with the Rams in this game. I wouldn't mind seeing the Niners win, but I think, the Rams are clearly the hotter team at this point.
Chiefs Browns next. Chiefs by 4.5 at Cleveland. I mean, I think this is just another game. Chiefs win by 3, comes down to the wire. They pull it out. Um, I can see Jameis, he wants to win. So it's not like the Browns are just one of those teams like, Jags, Titans, Raiders that are just giants that just threw in the towel and look horrible. Browns are going to give it everything they got. Um, Probably not even going to bet this one just because, it's some funky's going to go on there. But what do you think?
Let the Lord deliver me from pick sixes. Yeah, no, I'm rocking with the Chiefs. This might be a close game. I mean, it does seem like the Browns usually with Jameis, he's able to do enough on offense to make them competitive. And the Chiefs just play up or down to any of their opponents. I don't like the spread either. Chiefs minus 4.5. What are they like 0-7 in their last seven covering the spread or something? Might be worse than that. Yeah, I wouldn't bet on this at all. But yeah, Chiefs are going to win this game. I don't have any question about that.
Next, Bengals, Titans, Cincinnati by 5. I think this has the makings of a blowout. Um, Maybe the Bengals D makes Will Levis look decent. I don't see it happening though. I know Titans D is, like I said, it's been playing really well, but yeah, I mean, you got to score points in the NFL at some point. I think the Bengals win. I think it's kind of a little trappy, um, just in terms of that by five. I would be led to believe that the Bengals should be, 7, 8 point favorites here, but um, yeah, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, tickets are $17. Do we want to fly to Nashville this weekend for this game?
Be a good one. Watch Jamar Chase drop 200 yards.
Yeah, that'd be exciting. Maybe see Will Levis throw a behind the back pick six or something. I don't know. Could be decent, but no. In all honesty, uh, as fun as the Bengals are to watch an offense, just knowing how dead they are, is kind of sad. Joe Burrow's incredible, but you got to feel bad for the guy. 33 touchdowns, 6 picks this year. Those are numbers of an MVP leading candidate, but his team is awful. So at least the defense is. Yeah, I mean, I like the spread. I yeah, go if you want to bet the spread, go do it. I'd like the Bengals in this game.
Commanders, Saints, Commanders by 7. I don't know what the Saints are going to do at quarterback. Um, the Commanders are interesting. They just haven't been playing great football recently. I think they win, but I don't trust them to, go out there and win by 7 for sure. I won't be on either side of that, but what do you think?
Yeah, definitely think the Commanders should win this game. I mean, they usually beat all opponents that are under 500, so I like the Commanders. Don't like the spread. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I would probably stay away from this game. This could be a close game. Kind of seems like the Commanders have come back down to earth. Um, but they did blow out the Titans a couple weeks ago, so or last week, whatever it was.
Yeah, they're coming off a
Yeah,
bye
I wouldn't
too.
really. What'd you say?
Coming off a bye, they should be
Yeah,
ready for it. But who knows? I mean,
-7 just seems. I guess if it's a Spencer Rattler game, which I feel like it could be, then yeah, maybe you do want to bet because I don't think Spencer Rattler is ready to be an NFL quarterback. But I don't know. This seems like a gross game. I hope I don't have to watch anything but highlights from that one. Um, should move on.
Ravens, Giants, Ravens by 14 and a half. Um, could definitely see him covering that. I don't know how the Giants are going to stop Derrick Henry, and I don't know how they're going to score points. So, um, I could
0-7 at home for the Giants.
I can see it happening. I really don't like betting, three three touchdown games here or three score games, but um, there's just no way the Giants can hang, and they don't even want to hang. You know what I mean? They want that pick. So
Yeah. Gross game. Um, yeah, the spread is quite healthy. I don't really love the spread necessarily, just because I feel like the Ravens have had some. I mean, they lost the Raiders, but you would think they would have a bounce back game after that loss last week against the Eagles and probably just literally decimate the Giants. So if you feel comfortable with it, go ahead and bet on the Ravens. But I mean, obviously they're going to win this game, you'd think, but yeah, I don't know. Giants 0-7 at home. Sad. Giants are a sad franchise. They're in hell. At least they got Malik Neighbors though.
Cowboys, Panthers, Carolina by 2.5. I almost like the Cowboys here. I know the Panthers been playing a little bit better, but I think the Cowboys are just a better team, even with Cooper Rush. Rico Dowdle's looked really good last couple weeks. Think they can continue to run the ball. I think it'll be a low scoring game. But I think the Cowboys are. I'll take them plus 2.5.
Yeah, I love that. Um, Man, these are some tough games to kick off the slate. Yeah, Cowboys Panthers definitely like the Cowboys in this game. I think they're just more of a complete team, even though it is Cooper Rush at quarterback. I mean, he's capable. Um, this one could be entertaining. Just see if Bryce Young continues to play well. Um, Looking at his stats for the season, though, it's honestly sad to see 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So, um, as he's definitely been better. We'll just say that. Yeah, I would definitely go Cowboys plus 2.5. I mean, the Panthers, they want to play well. I don't know that they necessarily want to win this game. I mean, I'm sure it'd be a nice win, but they're looking for a nice pick here too. So who knows? But yeah, that's all
Jets,
I got.
Jets, Jags, Jets 3.5. Ugly game. Not betting it. If you bet this game, get help. Um, I just
Call 800.
I do think the Jets will really harass Mac Jones. But I mean, Jaguars are playing with a little bit of pride now for some reason. So, um, yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Mm, yeah. Jets minus 3.5. I mean, the Jets should win this game convincingly. 1-6 away this year. They don't make any sense. Don't bet this game. I'll watch the highlights. I hope this game is not red zone at all, unless it's big plays from the Jets offense, Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall. But yeah,
Dol
but I don't have anything.
Dolphins, Texans, last of the noon games. Texans by 2.5. I don't know. This is an interesting game. Texans are coming off a bye, should be well rested. Dolphins are playing for their season. Um, I don't really have anything to pick in here. I think I'd like to see the Dolphins win to, keep playoff hopes alive and at least make the AFC a little more interesting. But I think the Texans coming off the bye are going to come out ready to play.
Do you like the over 46.5?
Yeah, I
You
do.
say you do. Sorry, I don't know if you said that already, but yeah. This game's at least should be competitive. Texans are the worst playoff team in the AFC, in my opinion. Um, CJ Stroud doesn't has not he's definitely going through a sophomore slump. It's obvious. He's missing some weapons. He's still good, but those deep balls that he was hitting last year, it seemed like all of those, 50-yard deep balls, he was connecting on all of those, and he's been a little late, little off target this year. I still like the Texans in this game, um, but I think this is a decent matchup. There should be. I think it'll be a close game. I probably wouldn't bet, but I think this will be a close one.
Colts, Broncos, Denver by 4. I think Denver at home, they win this one. Going to Mile High is tough. Colts just aren't ready to, take that next step and start beating teams that aren't, the Patriots, Jaguars, that type of thing. So I like the Broncos here.
Yeah, I like the Broncos too. More Bo Nix. Um, Colts are, they are in a lot of the games that they play. Kind of depends on how Anthony Richardson does and if he can hit on some of his deep balls and just complete passes at a decent percentage. But yeah, I think the Broncos are kind of, you know, they've been solid. I think I like them. I like Denver -4. I think they win this game. I think they probably also pick off Anthony Richardson a couple times. So
Bills, Lions. Here's a good one. Detroit by 2.5. Taking over 53.5. I think there's gonna be a ton of points. Bills showed that, they're gonna put points on people. Lions, are gonna put points on people. It's gonna be a great game overall. I'm not really gonna lean one way or the other. I think Detroit just being at home has a slight edge, but Their defense is super beat up, and they're just gonna have to score to keep up with the Bills too. So I think it's gonna be a great one. Can't wait to watch that.
Hell yeah, dude. This is by far my game of the week. The next one coming up is good too. Yeah, this is gonna be an absolute shootout, dude. Hammer 53 and a half, in my opinion. Um, yeah, I mean, the Lions can do whatever they want on offense, kind of regardless, it seems like, of their defensive opponent, but the Bills are just as good on offense. I mean, Josh Allen is literally capable of anything. He's Mr. Incredible. He's Superman, whatever you want to call it. Um, I hope Detroit loses this game just for us in the NFC North and on the NFC side, but I would say I do like Detroit to probably win this game, just the way they've been rolling and just with the Bills. I don't know. Yeah, honestly, the decision making. Sean McDermott might lose in this game. We'll see. But yeah, that should be a good one. This is a great game.
Steelers, Eagles, Eagles by 5. I don't know. I don't know what Eagles you're gonna get. I know the Steelers are gonna get. They're gonna play D. They're gonna put a couple touchdowns up. Um, take care of the ball for the most part. So it's just are the Eagles gonna be able to throw the ball? I mean, this is the defensive test I was talking about. A team like the Steelers that can stop the run, stop the pass, have great pass rushers, big bodies up front. Are the Eagles going to be able to bully them? I don't know. So I'm just going to really watch this one intently and see. Be a good test for the Eagles. Some of those other teams at NFC that play real good D, um, if they'll be able to do it in the playoffs. So just going to be watching this one as a fan here.
Yeah, I don't like the spread -5 Eagles. I think this is a close game. I think this is a low scoring game. Looks like it's going to be rainy in Philly. Um, you know, I this is a real test for both. Yeah, like you said, both teams here. I honestly don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna be watching as a fan pretty much as well. I mean, I don't know if I could pick a team between these two. If the Steelers are able to do what they have been doing on offense, then I'm gonna go Steelers. But if Russell Wilson struggles against this Eagles defense, and the Eagles are able to do enough, and we'll see what version of Jalen Hurts we're getting, then you might go Eagles. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a kind of a lower scoring game, kind of similar to the Ravens game that the Eagles played before. But I like I would definitely think about betting Steelers in this game. So
George
yeah.
Pickens is out, so big
Oh,
loss
he
for the
is.
Steelers.
Damn, he is out, huh? That is
Uh,
tough. Yeah, I mean that's going to have an impact for sure. But I mean Saquon, let's see. We'll see what the Eagles do, or excuse me, what the Steelers D can do if they can hold Saquon in check and just make and do their best to mitigate that deep ball to AJ Brown. Um, they could come away with this at 11-3 and knock the Eagles off, but we'll see.
Interesting to note too is Steelers win, Bills lose. Steelers would be the 2 seed. So as it
Which is
stands,
seems very possible, honestly.
agreed.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Patriots, Cardinals, Arizona by 6. I mean, Arizona has to win this. Um, I think they do. Kind of like them here. Patriots just, they're not good. I mean, Drake May looks good, but outside of that, I mean, he's throwing the ball to no names. Um, the defense is not much of a defense either. I think Kyler has a little bit of a bounce back here and they get on the right track and, at least keep their playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, Patriots don't have any weapons. Cardinals should be able to bounce back here. Um, Arizona -6. I don't. Yeah, I guess I don't know how. It just depends on are the Patriots are going to be playing super hard still. I mean, they're They're pretty down bad at this point at 3-10. But the Cardinals have looked bad too. I don't know. I kind of think this game's going to be closer than we think. Um, I probably would not bet the spread at Arizona -6 here, but I'd still have the Cardinals winning this game.
Bucks, Chargers, Chargers by 3. I like the Chargers here at home, especially if they can get some guys back healthy. I think McConkey should play this week. Um, Defense looks really good. I I don't know if the Bills can or the Bucks can keep up and put points on the board against that good defense, just kind of with what they're working with, especially Baker threw 2 picks last week against the Raiders D, who's not the most formidable group ever. Looks a little shaky there, but I think it would be a good matchup. Two teams that are, scrapping and want to make the playoffs each. So
Yeah, no, I think I like the Chargers here as well. They're just the better overall team, better coach team. I think Baker's still going to have a good game, but I do see Baker probably throwing a couple picks or having 2 turnovers total. Um, did you say Ladd McConkey is back in this game, or is
I'm
that
not
still
I'm
undecided?
not sure.
Okay. I mean, if the Bucks, no, it's at Chargers. Yeah, I like the Chargers. If the Bucks can score early, and often, I don't think the Chargers want to get into any sort of shootout, but their defense is really good, so they should be able to stop that from happening. Yeah, I like the Chargers -3 here.
Sunday night, Packers Seahawks, Green Bay by 3. I mean, Seahawks looked good last week, but I just don't know how, they match up with the Packers that are able to beat you so many different ways. Run the ball, throw the ball. Packers D is getting a little healthier. I think Cooper's back. I think Jair's back, which big additions. Especially Cooper. He does so much in terms of being able to play man on, some of the running backs, some of the tight ends. That they just don't have when he's not on the field. He's athletic. So he really gives that defense a different type of look. Um, Seahawks love their checkdowns. So, just being able to defend that. I mean, DK is a matchup nightmare for us. We don't have, big corners that are able to go out and get it. But I don't know. Got Xavier McKinney on the back end. I think they do a good job there. So gonna have to make sure JSN doesn't get going too hot. And I just see them being able to turn Gino over at least once, maybe twice. And um, but Josh Jacobs just kill people again, just doing what he does. So
Yeah, for sure. This is a great game, honestly. I also like the Packers in this game. The Seahawks are hot, but I think the Packers just have enough weapons on offense to um, basically go up against the Seahawks defense and move the ball and score points. And I think your defense is good enough as well, also to force a couple turnovers from Gino, especially Xavier McKinney. I don't know what he's got this year, 8 picks, 7 picks, something like that. Um, I like the Packers in this game as well. Also, Josh Jacobs just pounding the rock down the Seahawks' throat. I can't really hate on the Packers here, even though as much as I'd love to. But I do think it's a close game, close-ish at least. It's a good game, that's for sure. Green Bay -3. I like it.
yeah, like I said too, it's projected the first round of the playoffs, Seahawks 3 seed, Packers 6, barring any changes. So be also interesting to see, kind of what LaFleur does in terms of showing. Is he going to show everything? Is he going to kind of play it safe? Just kind of, how's he going to coach it? So,
Sure.
just something to watch while that's going on. Monday night doubleheader here. Bears Vikings, Vikings by 7. I won't be watching this game. I actually, I guess I don't have a choice because the other game's Falcons Raiders. So, uh, these are both going to be on in the background. These are the, I mean, Vikings should win this handily. Um, I guess I don't know. Bears could keep it close. Don't really see a world. They just have to have a complete 180 from where they've been. Are they capable of it? Yes. Will they do it? Probably not. At 7, I think that's kind of it's a little bit of a stretch. I think they were favored by 3 last time they played. Um, ended up winning that one, ended up winning that one by 3. So, I mean, wouldn't be surprised if that falls right on that number, just right around 6, 7, 8, So not going to be betting that, but Vikings should have no problem, especially at home.
Yeah, considering this game is at home, I mean, we usually don't play them very well at Soldier Field, but like I said, this Bears team's absolutely dead. If the Vikings can, perform on offense even semi close to what we did this last week, this shouldn't even be a matchup here, really. Yeah, I like the Vikings, obviously. -7, I do think could be a bit of a trap here. Because we have played we did play the Bears close last time. We have played, so the Jags close, some other pretty dog ass teams pretty close, but yeah, I don't have any concerns about the Vikings winning this game. It's not a great game. And then Falcons Raiders is the other game. So you're gonna have to pick one here, brother.
I don't know, dude. I might just get a hobby. Um, yeah, I mean, in this one, I would love to see the Raiders win this. At home Monday night. Um, but I don't. Dude, this is just a garbage fest of two teams that look terrible right now. Raiders might be starting Desmond Ridder, so um, I guess that's where they're at. I saw they were bringing in some guy for a little bit of a competition here, but um, I guess O'Connell is a knee bone bruise, so I don't know why he had an air cast on. Maybe this guy needs to toughen up a little bit,
Oh,
but
and I realized I made that mistake earlier. It was Desmond Ridder that came in, not Gardner Minshew. Is Minshew hurt too? I said that
yeah,
earlier about the game.
Minshew's out for the year. Um,
Oh, okay.
so they got Ritter, and then
Ridder revenge game. Ridder revenge game.
they got some undrafted rookie on the team too. So, um, oh my God, dude, this article is saying they were considering getting Trevor Siemian, Mike White, and Nathan Peterman. Holy shit.
Mike White would actually. I mean, he's done some good things. Nathan Peterman. I mean, you're just like we're looking for a practice squad safety or something. I don't know. Uh, this game is ugly, though. I do think this game has some fantasy implications, though, with Brock Bowers, with Drake London, Kyle Pitts, even though all
I
those guys got
mean,
to be hitting
B
themselves. But
Bijan. I mean, Bijan should have a
Bijan, yeah.
field. He should have a field day because they should be
So
up and he should be getting the ball.
this game will probably potentially decide some first round playoff fantasy matchups. Luckily, I got two buys, two
Nobody cares about your
in both my
fantasy team.
fantasy league.
Nobody gives a fuck about your fantasy team.
Dude, it's because yours are shit, brother.
Nah,
But
nobody.
yeah, no, these games they're terrible. Especially this one. This one's worse. At least the other game, if you like Caleb Williams, you're at least entertained by that, and the Vikings are a good team. Otherwise, yeah, that's uh, that's about a wrap. Falcons will win this game. It's not going to be pretty, but they should win.
Agreed. Um, I mean that's week 15. I mean,
But yeah, I mean, that's episode 2 in the books here. Not the greatest slate for next week. I mean, honestly, the noon games are awful, but
yeah,
um,
nice thing is no buys. Everyone's playing. Afternoon games look really, really good. So that is nice. I mean, and then you got the Sunday night game, which should be a nice nightcap too. But um, I mean, be back here next week to, recap it and see all what
For
happened
sure.
and what surprised us. But I mean,
For
with that
sure. Hit
being
that like button. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow. But no, we appreciate any viewers we have here. We're just getting things kicked off, and I think we'll be coming out with some more specialized segments in the future. But we appreciate y'all for listening, and we'll catch you next week for episode 3. Peace.